You know how some foods you eventually get tired of? You eat the same breakfast every morning for a month, and one day, you just stop wanting it. A restaurant you love stops exciting you. A snack you used to reach for starts sitting in the cupboard untouched. Your brain quietly moved on. That happens with almost every food you eat. But there is one food your brain never moves on from. Not after a week, not after a month, not after years of eating it. And the reason why, the actual biological reason, is something most people have never heard. Today, we are going inside that reason. And by the end, I think it will change the way you think about every sweet thing you eat. First, let's understand what your brain does with food it likes. When you eat something you enjoy for the first time, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is your brain's way of saying, "That was good, do it again." It creates a feeling of pleasure and satisfaction, the warm feeling after a meal you love. The second time you eat that same meal, dopamine rises again, but a little less than before. The third time, a little less again. By the fourth or fifth time eating the same thing, the dopamine response has gone quiet. The food is still nice, but the urgent feeling, the pull toward it, has faded. Your brain has registered it as familiar, and familiar things get a smaller reward signal than new things. This is completely normal. It happens with almost everything. A song you love, heard 50 times. The excitement fades. A joke told again, less funny. A view you walk past every day, eventually invisible. Your brain does this on purpose. It turns down the reward for familiar things so that it can still notice and respond to new things. It is a protective mechanism. Without it, you would never want to try anything new at all. Broccoli gets filed under familiar. Chicken gets filed under familiar. Your favorite pasta, your morning coffee, the fruit you eat every afternoon. All of them eventually become background. Sugar never gets filed under familiar. Here is what researchers discovered. Scientists at Princeton University gave rats access to sugar on an intermittent schedule. Some days they could have it, some days they could not. This is very similar to how most people eat sweet foods. You have some, then you stop for a few days, then you have some again. They measured the dopamine response in the reward center of the brain every single time, and it never dropped. Day 1, the dopamine spike was large. Day 7, the same. Day 21, still the same spike, as strong as the very first time. That does not happen with other foods. With other foods, the spike shrinks. With sugar, on that pattern of eating, it did not shrink at all. The researchers called this failure to habituate, meaning the brain never got used to it. And they noted that this is exactly what you see with addictive substances. The reward does not fade. It stays fresh every single time. But why? What makes sugar different from every other food? The answer has 2 parts. And the second part is the one that surprised even the scientists who found it. Part 1, the tongue. When sugar touches your tongue, it activates your taste receptors, the small sensors on the surface of your tongue that detect sweetness. These receptors send a signal to your brain almost instantly. Your brain registers the sweetness. Dopamine is released. You feel the pleasure of the taste? This happens in seconds. That is the first signal. Most people think this is the whole story. Taste the sugar, feel the reward, want more. But it is only half of it. Part 2, the gut. This is the part almost nobody has heard about. In the last decade, researchers made a discovery that changed how scientists understand sugar entirely. They found that the lining of your gut, deep inside your intestine, long after the food has left your mouth, contains its own sugar sensing system. These are specialized cells in your gut wall. When real sugar arrives in the intestine, these cells detect it and fire a signal directly along a nerve that runs from your gut all the way up to your brain. That nerve is called the vagus nerve, and it is one of the longest nerves in the human body. The signal travels in milliseconds, not slowly through digestion, directly through a dedicated nerve line, gut to brain. Researchers at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute confirm this circuit exists. They also confirm something that explains a mystery millions of people have experienced. This gut signal only fires for real sugar. It does not fire for artificial sweeteners. When you drink a diet soda or eat something sweetened with a calorie-free substitute, your tongue tastes sweetness and sends the first signal. But your gut receives no sugar because there is none, and the second signal is never sent. Your brain gets half a message. The tongue says sweet. The gut says nothing. And somewhere beneath your awareness, something feels unsatisfied. Not because you lack willpower, because a signal that was supposed to arrive never did. This is why sweeteners never quite replace sugar for most people. The tongue is satisfied. The deeper circuit is not. When you eat real sugar, both signals arrive at nearly the same moment. The tongue confirms sweetness. The gut confirms real energy. Two separate messages, both saying the same thing, both landing in the reward center of your brain together. And the brain receiving a signal this strong, this double confirmed, this consistent, never files it under familiar. The reward does not fade. It stays. A study at the Max Planck Institute for Metabolism Research in Germany tracked people who ate a high sugar food every day for 8 weeks. Then they measured how strongly the brain responded to sweet foods at the end. The response was stronger than at the beginning, not weaker, stronger. 8 weeks of eating sugar daily, and the brain wanted it more at the end than it did at the start. The circuits had been changed, not toward less, but toward more. Read that again. And here is the part that explains something you may have felt yourself. Over time, when your brain is receiving this strong, repeated signal from sugar, it does something to protect itself. It quietly reduces the number of receptors it uses to receive the dopamine signal, like turning down the volume on a speaker that is always too loud. The signal is still arriving, but the brain has turned down its own ability to hear it. What this feels like, the same sweet food that once fully satisfied you now barely touches the craving. A portion that used to be enough now leaves you wanting more. You are eating more of something and enjoying it less. This is not weakness. This is your brain adapting to a signal it was never designed to receive at this volume, this often, this reliably. You are not failing to resist sugar. Your brain has been quietly changed by it. None of this means you should never eat anything sweet again. What it means is this: every other food you eat, your brain eventually gets used to it. The reward quiets. You stop craving it at the same level. Your brain moves on. Sugar is the one exception. The two signal system, tongue and gut, both arriving every time, means your brain never quite moves on from it. It is not the only food that tastes good. It is the only food your brain treats as permanently new. And that is not a flaw in you. It is a very old circuit, doing exactly what it was built to do in a world that has far more sugar in it than that circuit was ever designed for. Have you ever noticed there are foods you eventually stop wanting, and sugar is just never one of them? Tell me about it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want to understand what happens when sugar and fat arrive in your brain together, and why that particular combination creates a reward signal with no ceiling at all, that video is already waiting for you.